Last week, late-night host Jon Stewart advocated for the PACT Act on Capitol Hill, which is a bill that would support burn victims and sick veterans. After Republicans blocked the bill's passage, Stewart is holding no punches and is taking aim at Senator Ted Cruz in particular. Let's watch.
It's nonsense. There is nothing in the bill that is not related to veterans spending. And don't take my word for it. An on an iPhone. Read it. It's at congress.gov. This is for veterans who suffered health effects from being exposed to burn pits and other toxins. That is it.
What the Republicans got made clear is if we leave that spending as discretionary, don't play the budgetary trick, the bill will pass with 80 or 90 votes.
I don't know how many other ways to say this, but there was no budgetary trick and it was always mandatory. And when they voted in the Senate on June 16th, they actually got 84 votes. And you know who voted for that? Ted Cruz and every other one of those Republicans that switched their votes.
So this is a kind of complicated situation. We've just been reading up more about it to get it. So I think, and I understand, Jon Stewart's anger, and he's been a very powerful advocate for people who are injured in 9/11, our service members, people injured in our foreign wars. So I get it. However, it does look to me like, yes, in fact, $400 billion was changed from discretionary spending to mandatory spending, which was something that the Republicans said they didn't want. And then, and you lay this out for us, Batya. So Senator Toomey did have a measure to take that out, and Dems didn't go for that. So then, yeah, Republicans voted against it.
Right. So this all happened right after Manchin made his big reversal on the sort of pared down Build Back Better. Right. So a week ago, Senator Manchin was out there saying, I will never vote for this. We can't put this much money into the economy at a time of such high inflation. He did that because Senator Mitch McConnell had said he was going to tank the CHIPS bill if the Democrats passed their reconciliation bill. So Senator Manchin promised he wasn't going to be on board for the reconciliation bill. Everybody voted on, not everybody, but, 2/3 of the Senate voted for the CHIPS bill. And not 3 hours later, Senator Manchin reversed himself on the Build Back Better reconciliation bill and said, actually, I'm going to be voting for this. And so many speculated that the Republicans then turned on exactly the PACT bill in a fit of pique of revenge, saying we're not going to pass this thing. I don't really understand two things. The first is why they couldn't just pass Toomey's amendment. I mean, I don't see what the big deal is there. If that's the condition for the Republicans. I mean, it's not like Republicans hate veterans, right? I mean, it's not like, I believe Ted Cruz that if they pass this, that they will get, 80, 90 votes for it. And if they don't, we can take it up then. The second thing I don't understand is how is Jon Stewart more angry about this than like any of the Democrats? Like, how did this he became sort of the face of this. And I think in a way that he has this penchant for mixing into his outrage a kind of like smug superiority to the people who disagree with him. Mm-hmm. And I just have always it really, really grates on me and rubs me the wrong way. He was sort of the king of, if you don't agree with me, then you're stupid. You're not just like, you don't just have a different opinion. You have like an unacceptable opinion, like an opinion worthy of mockery. And that to me is just like he really was part of the building blocks of I think where the Democrats, at least in the latest iteration, went wrong and lost their ability to communicate with normal people, because normal people don't have these views. Now, on this issue, I agree with him. It's really important to take care of our veterans. Really, really important. Obviously, it's like bill is really important. But at the same time, the way that he represents the things he's passionate about, I always feel like it's a kind of thing that really turns you off. Like him using this to sort of elevate his celebrity, to make himself relevant again after his show sort of tanked. I don't know, like there's something about that whole scene that really rubs me the wrong way. What about you?
Well, it's as if he's writing the headlines for all the media articles about this issue. So from Vox says, Senate Republicans burned a bill that would have helped veterans. Washington Post is Senate Republicans block bill to help veterans exposed to burn pits. The Senate passed, NPR is the Senate passed a bill to help sick veterans. Then 25 Republicans reversed course. Buried way, 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 way down there is the Republicans say they did it because they didn't want this spending labeled for the label change from discretionary to mandatory. They offered a version of the bill that didn't have that. Democrats voted it down. So you could probably have the same headline that everyone in Washington virtually everyone agreed to support this bill. Then Democrats did something, but instead the framing for all of this, the outrage is entirely at Republicans for what they did, even though this seems like a mutual failure. And maybe there was some malice involved, right? It could be, as you said, it's possible revenge. I mean, we're both sides engaging in revenge here, right? There was the double dealing on the reconciliation. So I guess it's all politics. But the framing of it is all those evil Republicans. It's as if they pushing the veterans into the burn pits themselves. Which is pretty
and
telling.
that nexus of Jon Stewart, Vox, the Washington Post, and the Democrats, right? That's sort of the stuff we keep coming back to over and now big tech, right? It's like that, I don't want to say cabal, that's too conspiratorial, but the interests of those groups are all aligned. The kind of outraged celebrity, right, dominating news headlines in exactly the most flattering possible way that actually totally absolves the Democrats of any responsibilities, and then gets pushed out on social media as I bet you if anybody puts something out disputing that, fact check, false, right? As we started the show with. So I think that round robin is deeply alienating to Americans and goes a long way towards explaining why, trust in the media is so low.
Yeah, it really does. It's one-sided. They're on the team. The media itself is on one of the teams. So they're not trusted as referees for these kinds of things because they're not really. They're not referees. I thought this Washington Post headline, I clicked on it, I was assuming this was the Jennifer Rubin version of it, but it's the news story. So when it's hard to distinguish the two, doesn't that tell you everything you need to know? No.
100%.
All right. Well, Batya, it's been a pleasure having you with us. Thanks so much.
It's been so great being here with you, Robby. Thanks for having me.
We loved having you. Tomorrow, Brianna Joy Gray will be back. And before we go, we did want to take a quick moment just to address Kim Iverson's absence from the show. Unfortunately, we will no longer be working together, but we've enjoyed having her on the show last year, and we wish her nothing but the best, truly, in all her future endeavors on her own independent channel. For us, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you listening while on the go, we're now available anywhere you listen to podcasts. And we'll see you back here tomorrow with the rest of the Rising roster.